right, here we go again, buckle up. I don't think you have a requirement. I mean, again, the idea is that you're masked. So when the Supreme Court visited identification before, you weren't masked. And again, I'm the reason you're masked, probably. Right. Because I've spoken about, you know, I was the first one to speak about, what do they call that? Right. Yeah, it's been rough lately. What is that thing called? Facial recognition. So I spoke about facial recognition, so that's what we're trying to thwart there. Right. And again, I don't know if you brought that up in court. Right. And you might want to do that. Again, you know, it's probably maybe 6 of one, half dozen of the other, but, well, because you don't want to say it to people that don't realize it yet. Right. Maybe you could do it in camera or, you know, at the bench without the other counsel to the judge and tell the judge, you know, we're doing this because of facial recognition. We don't want to say it in open court because we don't want people that don't know about that using that against street officers, patrol officers, right? But again, I think it's out there anyway. Anybody who can get it would use it probably, right? So, Jesus, cursing me here. Things are falling here. So, again, you know, U.S. Marshals will display their real badge when they're, you know, not. Actually, I think we even did it when we're in uniform. We just have a habit of wearing our badge around our neck. Right? So you don't have to do that. You can clip it to your badge, to your, what's that thing? Your vest. Well, it's harder to get a badge than it is to get a patch. Right. Again, they're not specialists in badges, but I think based upon being masked, what could you do to placate a judge? Because a judge goes, you know, there's no requirement, but again, what are we actually seeing? You're thwarting identification of who you specifically are by. And there's a law enforcement reason to do that, but you're covering your face. Right? So if you take your real badge and you promptly display that and you say, if you have any questions, you know, if they seem to be hesitating, if you have any questions, call 911, we'll wait. Right. Well, because it's going to end up in court somewhere soon. Right. Well, it's a byproduct of propaganda working against your operations. So you have to do something to fix it, I think. You know, it's just like, it's weird because the board, you know, again, these people weren't Border Patrol, they were somebody else, like maybe HSI, I don't even know for sure, but yeah, Border Patrol deals with it all the time. No, I'm waiting now, I'm waiting now. But now it's on the streets, you know. It must be a curse that follows the Border Patrol. Right. So they should do that. And what's the other thing they should do? Nothing. There's probably nothing else. I don't know how to fix it completely. Right. Again, traditionally, the way to fix it would be for agents, right, to call an officer onto the scene before they do the traffic stop. Well, again, even if you're in a marked unit, I guess a marked unit would change it, but the idea is this, that you're not, it's not a traditional traffic stop at this point. Again, why would we call a marked unit from the local police department? Because that's who people see. Again, they may not open it when that shows up also, but again, right, there's less of a reason not to. Again, he's using terminology that cops use, right, which is weird, but again, there's no lawful right to, you feared for your life, so you fled. I mean, there's a question. They're marked. They have the patch of the badge. They have police on their vest. So they're marked, but again, if I look, you're now masked. You have a valid reason to be masked, but does that change the paradigm of the stop? Does the paradigm of the stop actually change legally at that point? So again, that's what a judge is probably going to look at. Not to say, again, you have a valid concern to not show your face. It has nothing to do with, being embarrassed about what you're doing. It's an officer safety thing, which I don't think itself has been fully adjudicated. So where are we with it? What could we do to maybe change this situation? The only thing I can come up with is to take your, and I don't know, they may have had the real physical badge. I didn't look through the video again too much. I had a shorter video that I looked at real quick. Right? They didn't, again, the media, you can tell they're not only showing little pieces, so they're not trying to show how the stop went, because people will be like, well, I've been pulled over. It looks like it's legitimate. I don't roll down my window, at least. I'm not sure. Again, from inside the car. We can hear what they say. We can't hear what you say, but you may hear what you say, and they can't hear what you, and you can't hear what they say. That kind of thing. So if I listen to the video in the car, I'm going, they're asking you questions you're not answering, but you may not have heard them. Right. Now you may be actually saying something that we can't hear on that video. Again, some of the people may not read English, but what you can do is you can put a LED you actually do it in both languages, I guess, because most of it's Latino. You can put an LED, what do they call those things? Where they have words on it. You can put whatever words you want in there. So you can put an LED screen that lights up from you have a vehicle that pulls in front of them. Right. So you have one vehicle behind, one vehicle in the front. The vehicle that pulls in front of them or off to the side to the front lights up, and it lights up instructions in English and Spanish. Nice. So you can actually communicate. They can just read the thing, And if you have any questions, call 911. We'll wait, or something. So you have like an LED. I don't care what they call that thing. I got one in my van. They ordered that one early. God's like, no, we're not going to tell them they're going to be okay. It's over. Right. They think they win. Because my thing says, God loves you. Because they drive around. The church is there to tell God, make you believe God hates you and loves them, right? Or loves somebody. And then when you get to the church, you know what it is? God still hates you, but he loves us 10 people in your church. Go ahead and tithe the proper amount, and you'll be okay. Like a mafia, I really believe the LDS is a mafia at this point. I'm not joking. Right? And they might be into something pretty bad. Right. If you touch me, I can reach you. Thank you. And again, they have people that aren't the mafia type. That'll be the face people. Right. It's not traditional cult. These are criminal enterprises. That's how they get their big houses and their big names, and force the community to accept them. Russians didn't accept them. It's obvious now why they didn't accept them. Right. They don't play the deep state game. Agreed. Okay, so you have them in DC and you're using them, right? So that you decided that was the only way to get around it, I guess. Right. Yeah. So you have marked units. So you have your own mark. Yeah. So you'll have your own marked units in those locations. Great. You know, Marshall service used to have those chintzy vinyl, like magnetic vinyl things. You put the big Marshall seal on the side. Sticks on. Yeah, Marshall, say. They may not believe that though, because it's like anybody could order those. Hey, don't forget to grab that thing from the vault. Thanks for Marshalls. So you can pull the magnetic thing off when you don't use it. That might be an answer real quick. Right. So what you want to do right now, okay, so I do have another answer. So you want to go, before you get your vehicles out in the field, it may take some time, get magnetic signage made up that says ICE. Right. Now they may say, oh, it looks chintzy. Put something on the back and on the sides. Right. So you can peel it off or put it on. Right. All right, where's the ice? Here's ice. That's ice's place. And there it is. And when I speak about it, I think through it. It's absolutely, oh, what a idiot. The reason I don't have something is because these people wanted to pay me money, but they couldn't. And again, the funny part is I was talking to this female bodybuilder in Naples, and I said, no, there's nothing I can do. I tried to explain it to her. It's just like talking to SOG, Why don't you join SOG? Well, probably won't be here much longer. So she's like, there's a lot of things you could do here in Naples. I'm like, not really. So she doesn't understand, like, as soon as I go in your direction, you're going to be hit with bullshit, or you'll be extorted, and the cops will come up and tell you that guy's wanted for 50 crimes and we're about to arrest him in a week. That's kind of shit they say. Meanwhile, and then this is like a psyop. Then 8 months later, after they did shit to me, because this guy can be offended. Let's F with him and make some money. So they F with me and they make some money, right? Like 8 months later, I'm still out on the street and I go, what's going on? I thought you were going to arrest this guy. Oh, well, they want to arrest him. They're protecting him. Oh, this is a bad thing. They could come back on us. So they're trying to get somebody to kill me. And so that's the scam they use. They're in that church going, oh, this is bad. This is real bad. We got to do something. Right. So actually, even after that, right? Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find a Marshall Service van with it on there. Actually, you could buy it. They showed you could buy it. Right. Oh, wait, no, that's not something else. No, it's not it. Right. But also make sure they know not to make that for anybody. Right. So make sure that but make sure that you put something out there that this is a controlled item, right? So nobody else makes it. So they don't make it for anybody, right? So I don't know, there's a way to probably public notice it or something, do something. There's an LED. Let me see if it's an LED strip, front LED strip. But that's going to be like a model vehicle. Mm-hmm. There's a way to do it with LED in the front. Oh yeah, in the window, the front window. I just figured it out, right? Right. That's right, talk. Right. Here comes the up and out. Thank you, Mary. Oh, wait. I put that in nice. Oh, I did. See, that's what you do. And then you can take it off and put it on as you need it. Right. But you're going to create hate. You're going to, temporary, or even not even temporary. You want to have that in your vehicle. So all your vehicles should have that. Everybody should have that in their vehicles. Or should we give it to the officer and assign it to the officer? Nah, because sometimes you have like 3 or 4. Yeah. You got to maintain accountability. So it'll be issued like a serial number. The kid will have a number assigned to it. You spoke. Initial identification of kitten. You should have asked me. You wouldn't have had to do that whole thing with the Trumpy airplane colors. we'd already be there. Everybody would have one. You still, until you get it out there on the street, right? It's going to cost a lot of money to do what you're doing. Like, this would be cheap. Just call me Big Jew. I'll save you money the right way. I've got big Jews. He's got big Jews. But I've got the biggest Jew of them all. That's how Shem's actually the biggest Jew. Right, so where did I put that? I put that on my Homeland Security. Oh, there's another one. I got to put the other one. Thanks, Larry. And Marshall used to have it for the vans. I don't think we ever used them. I don't remember using them. But that was back when it was really chintzy. It was like three-dimensional or something. Three-dimensional ABS plastic or whatever. Maybe I'm just embellishing there. But they did have it. It's in the vault. I can put it on one thing over here. So I don't have that. That Carson, you're always funny. Trying to drive me nuts. Yeah, some officers are dirty as shit, man. Cops right here, crap, man. Well, whoops. I mean, the young guys and gun guys, they don't know nothing. They suspect something, but but the seasoned officers here, full-on organized crime figures. The whole thing about prosecuting that detective in Kansas City was to lure me here. And of course, he ended up killing himself, and then they tried to they up the ante, trying to make me do the same thing. Sickos. But go to hell. They're like a cult, but who are we doing this to? The person that might have arrested you or get you arrested. That's who. It's fucking bullshit. It's very last one. Of course, it's fraud, false statements. Yeah, you might have human trafficking now. Yes. Actually, I already received that they did forgive them for it before, but they may not do it now. I received information from, I guess, ICE, inside that LDS has been forgiven for and weren't charged. Right. For human trafficking crimes. What am I there? Where's my... Let's try to look at something. There it is. You should now you got to put a number on. Now it might come up. They might try to steal it from one another, right? Because you're not going to be able to number it perfectly. Actually, you can. Yeah, you can see, you can etch it. Actually, that's rubber. I don't know how you do it. It's probably rubber on the back. Thanks. Oh, we can even put a number on it. Yeah, put a number on the front. We'll put a number on the front, so your vehicle will be numbered. So it says ICE vehicle number 72, 35, 10, whatever it is. Right. So we put numbers on the vehicles. So your vehicle, like the police vehicle. Well, that way they identify you without identifying you. If you want, you could swap the kits. I don't. So they can't figure out what vehicle it's on. I don't. Right. No, you don't have to drive around with it. You just put it. The idea is you put it on when you need it. Right. So you can drive around and then right before the traffic stop, apply it. That's the quickest way to get them. It doesn't cost much. That's worth about $1 million more. Right. Let me see. Oops, I already had that. Yeah, somebody's messing with my posting thing. Oh no, that's it. Where's the other one? This is, where's that? Oh, it's in there. You can even do it, so it like, what do you call that? Reflective. You can use reflective. Oh my! I can't get the ICE page. Somebody's blocking me from ICE. Oh, you're being shadow banned by Elon and Big Balls. Big Balls has ordered you shadow banned on that. No, Border Patrol's all marked units, I think. Yeah. Actually, not in the city, right? So Bavino's people need to do that too, because I don't think they're all marked, but the other people would be able to give a lot of marked. They blocked me from ISIS page. What a bunch of assholes. Yeah, but Christine Young's like laughing from her page. Like, again, it doesn't mean that she's present in it. From her image. There's emotions that will come through. And if you can project, but that's not actually projection. That's just is. Yeah, that's the whole thing about what did they say? So I would try to put the ice emblem where it lights up an LED in the window. I guess in daytime it wouldn't be as easy. I don't think. Right? There's no real way to put it on the grill. I don't think anything. You can do a grill badge, I guess. Let me see. Custom grill badge. Actually, you could actually, yeah, but see, this one wouldn't be on and off. You need something you can put on real quick, right? But they actually have an LED grill badge that could be custom. That lights up LED. Yeah, you can do a custom grill badge. It looks like. I'm not sure, you know, ins and outs of mounting it. They have custom grill badges. However, I don't know the ins and outs of the mobility of those or portability. Ability and installation time. I'm getting a kind of an affirmative nudge that ICE has forgiven LDS people for trafficking in the past and might not do that in the future. Thank you. Thank you, sir. So I haven't received my packages from Amazon yet. Hopefully the witch isn't blocking them. Right. That's still the time frame. I tried onions. I don't know what they're going to call. Oh, here, she's on her way. Thank you, Tamara. We'll be here soon. How many stops? Oh, one stop. Great deal, Tamara. Help you and your family. Have a great Christmas. Oh, you're bringing the peas too. Ooh, and the mayo. You got it all. Stay off my mayo, Miller. Don't touch it. I curse my mayo. He's got power like that. my mayo stayed outside yesterday and went bad. You can get in the fridge, back in the fridge. I mean, it might be good, but that's kind of weird stuff when it comes to that. Did I buy the right? That's right. Let's see. So I bought a coffee that was like $22 for 2 pounds, and it's not horrible, but it's just it presents as a great coffee, but it's not. It's just right. Happens to be beans. But you know what happens when you get like a budget coffee? Sometimes the quality's up and down, and they may know and not really care. Right? They may be really careful when they begin to market it, and then they let it slip. Right. Okay, this is way over here. All right, so we got that problem worked out, so it doesn't cost $70 million or more. Probably cost like $1 billion. Nah, probably about 500 million. Get enough cars out there. The current rate of operations. Nope, there it is. You could have them made. You could have some of those made today. I guarantee it. Could be out there in a marked unit this afternoon. Actually, this afternoon. No. You'd be at a marked unit by tomorrow. You don't want them making it. Well, we made it, they feel it's okay to make it. They put a number, yeah. Number it like a because the court will accept that, probably. Right. So each vehicle will have an ICE emblem and a unit number. So then you'll say, Judge, we did everything we could. Even if the judge balks a little bit, you'll say, Judge, this is the best we can do. We gave it, every vehicle has an ICE emblem, when it's effectuating a traffic stop. And on top of that, we have a vehicle number that, corresponds to the vehicle. Yeah, and I'm not in any way saying that you had no right to do that traffic stop and that they had a right to flee. Obviously, that's fleeing, eluding. Right. But I'm very cautious about shooting at vehicles again. A lot of times, again, I understand, the reaction, to the shock of the vehicle moving, but you have to be careful because a lot of times, the shooting comes in a questionable manner. Not that you're going to be charged. It's just, again, that's not where you should be when it comes to these type of things. Like, well, they're not going to charge you, right? Well, how does it look? Because you are fighting a public call it, a public, not awareness. A propaganda battle, I guess, would be the basic way to say it, but a public image, kind of a public image campaign. Well, the whole idea is that ICE law isn't real law. I mean, that's really where they base all their propaganda, the counter propaganda. The police departments aren't even allowed to not do what they normally do for other agencies without being guilty of impeding. No, there's nothing. It's just this bullshit that everybody came up with. just like it's like the police department saying, "Well, we're a sovereign citizen. We don't have to obey ICE law." That's pretty much what it is. It's the sovereign citizen bullshit rehashed, right? No, they're just they have to. It's a federal law. They have, in other words, they're in position to be that entity. If they come along and say we don't believe in ICE law, they can't. It's impeding and obstructing justice. Because there's nobody. They're the only game in town. That's why they're law enforcement. There's nobody else you can go to do that. It's obstructing. It is an affirmative action of obstruction. Right. Anybody that signed off on legislation is guilty of a crime. Oh, there they are, right there. Oh, she's right there, right. Another woman's right there outside, right. Oh, I thought she dropped it off to the side. She's just going through the stuff and making sure that it's in proper order. So they gave her a big load of stuff. Because when you order food items, they put them in paper bags with like 3 ice containers. Right. So I got like 6 bags of stuff. I realized last night that I didn't get out shopping yesterday when I needed to. I came late anyway. I thought I'd come closer to like 7. Right. So what you're doing there is you're out thinking the court, or not out thinking. It's like you're coming up with something you can present to the court. Right. So what you say to the court, look, Your Honor, we did this. This is kind of the best we can do. Right. Again, you were marked pretty good. I don't know if any judge will say that you're not marked well enough. They're going to say they were afraid for your life because you wore a mask. I don't know if they're allowed to do that or not. But again, that brings up other questions. So to waylay anything, you just put the emblems on your vehicles and make every unit that you can. Again, maybe something will exist where you can't use a marked unit. Maybe because you have to effectuate a stop very quickly, right? But if it's under if you can do it, make sure every traffic stop is in a marked unit, and you can do that by that magnetic signage. I think it was ABS plastic. It has like the Marshal Service seal in that ABS, in that plastic. If you poke with your finger, it pushes in. And it was like magnetic on the back. It's like a 3-dimensional Marshal Service. Some were actually just magnetic. That's great stuff. There it is. So now you got instant mark units. The problem is the front grille, but again, you look like you're doing most of your work with a couple vehicles. So there's one to and I always recommend one to the front, one to the rear. But actually, I was saying come head in. You just kind of. So if you could actually get an LED screen in the back of your vehicles, giving instructions to people. Thank you, Larry. Wow, there's a ton of stuff. Doing a task with a big delivery. Well, you could put an LED screen in your back window that's not seen, and then it can light up when you stop. Right. Of course, that's more appropriate, like an SUV or van. You could actually even, you could have even USC. You actually tell them where your authority comes from. This is that bread. Oh, it's frozen. Let's see what this pita looked like. It was a pretty good deal. That looks good. Maybe some quick pita bread. Yeah, the pita bread was kind of priced pretty good, and I was wondering if it was like, kind of chintzy or something. There's some stock cold brew. It's possible that when I order something, that they cause it to go out of stock for a little while. It's one of their, PSYOP things. So, where'd it go? Where'd it go? They know what you're ordering. They know what you're ordering. Right. So that's how they cause agents to kill themselves. That's the kind of shit they use. So it's not. Now, obviously, there's nothing to do with any type of crime I might have committed. Right. Although they'll put numbers and letters and say there were crimes related to something. Right. But actually, there's what do they call it? There's a law enforcement leads related to those numbers, law enforcement assistance that's related to those numbers and words. So again, they won't tell you that part. Right. But I'm not saying that there's crimes related. They'll insinuate there's crimes related to something. Right. But it's where I busted them. Right. Where and when. All right, let's see if you. Yes, beautiful. And wait. Oh, that one looks damaged. Onions look pretty good though. Better than some people receive. There's one that's got like a ding in it, but that's it. That's not good. Yeah, they're freaking out. Because I'm not freaking out. Yellow and two's not freaking out, no matter what you all try to characterize it as. Now I got all these iced water bottles. Oh, yeah, make sure you stay hydrated. Anybody falling out? Yeah, that works. A great mind is a terrible thing to waste. All right. Read this. So we got that problem handled. But that way, if the judge, that's something you can tell the judge. Like it, bro. You take that to the bank. No, they're saying that in the general sense, LDSOs and those federal law. We've helped them on occasion. Again, mitigating circumstance, whatever. Right. Yeah, that's weird. Like the video, it shows like it almost lights up like the ice emblem in the windshield. It's like an ice emblem in the windshield. Right. Yeah, but you're not going to get those out in a day. I mean, it's going to take time to make things happen like that. And then the idea is you're always going to need unmarked vehicles. Right. I agree. Right. Well, you're actually burning some of your vehicles from surveillance if you put that on every vehicle or require a certain number, and then you got to call the marked unit in. Right. Correct. Whereas with magnetic signage, it's simple. Even if you have marked units, every unit has the capability of being a marked unit, which is what you want. Right. Costs a lot cheaper. Making sure. Yeah, there are people in the Marshal Service, they spend their whole career dogging people in the Marshal Service that are actually active officers. They're inhibiting their ability to perform their mission. So they're sabotaging law enforcement effort. But they always say it's something else, Right. Oh, Marshal is full of pieces of shit, man. That whole thing where they do sex crime, that's a scam. I knew it was a scam when the FBI had it. I mean, not when I was in the Marshal Service, but, towards the end I did. Right. And then when I left. They use it like CIA would use it. They're not actually investigating the cause of it. They're using PSYOP to cause it. They're not testing people, believe me. They're testing people that everybody would be it. Because nobody would pass it. Right. You got to talk to, like, if you connect to CIA inside, you would have all the information there. Right. Well, because they know they can force anybody to anything. I'm actually a rock. I'm a strong man. Right. I mean, look, they got that man to go back to Russia to his death. I'm sure Russian spies did it too. Right. Why we didn't tell him not to go, I have no freaking idea. I guess because our spies are idiots. They had, the Russians put in their head, look, he's going to be elected president any day, send him back to Russia. And our spies like, yeah, go back to Russia, the thing says you're going to be elected. They know that thing exists because they try to use it on me all the time, and I'm just one man, and they'll send like 30, 40 people and they'll call it a ruse. It's not a ruse, it's a criminal operation. They're criminals. It's an organized crime effort. Right? It's a fraud. It's not a ruse. It's a difference. Call it a task. We want the task force in. Because it's not dangerous. You know what's dangerous? I get a friend. That's it. That's what they consider dangerous. That's it. So go to hell, man. Tell them we're already in hell. Remember, if somebody calls you and tells you to cover up something, you have to write a report. Thank you, man. You can't wait for the investigator to ask you. Agreed. Agreed, man. Thank you, sir. Agreed. That includes if they meet you, whenever they ask you to cover something up, you generate a report for headquarters. Internal affairs at a minimum. Or you can call the FBI if you feel that that's required of you. Where there is no internal affairs, that's value, that's a valued member of the law enforcement community where they're actually working for crooks. Then the way out, there's no excuse. If you feel like your internal affairs is corrupt, you call FBI. Let them be a criminal. God will get them. That's the only way to take it down, man. You know, let that shit fester. So what we'll see, we didn't see indulgences in the church during the Inquisition. So they were not only killing Jews, you can get off the hook if you paid money. Again, back in the day, law enforcement and government was theocratic, was religion. So it's the same, like what you have in the scriptures to identify what's going on is the same thing that's happening in law enforcement. Because it is, was part of that. Satan executed a switcho chango there to confuse everyone. So they have false prophets and all that kind of thing. Actually have criminal prophets, but called bribery, extortion payments, protection rackets. Y'all guys may have been launching a protection racket too. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't stay to say it. I just wanted to be part of something like that. What am I hearing? Okay. I might get kind of wordy at times and keep adding. Well, I read either Soldier of Fortune or Gung Ho. At the end of the Vietnam War, there was a lieutenant Marine that was wounded in combat. He recovered, I guess got some disability, got out of the military. He worked for the State Department. He's an analyst. He developed a plan to destroy North Vietnam's capability to do what it was doing. It wasn't a sure thing to end the war, but it was a sure thing to stop North Vietnam in its tracks. And it's essentially almost, and then over that time period, they may have been able to come up with something, or even force like an armistice or something like that. So they told him that Kissinger was interested. What he didn't know is that Kissinger didn't receive an in-depth briefing of anything, like no information. It was just, this guy has this thing, this plan, and we believe it's going to work, and it involves immobilizing North Vietnam using, I think they were going to use, they were only going to use Vietnamese units. There were several known units that were, not corrupt and very capable. It's like a special forces unit, a Marine unit, an amphibious unit, and a Ranger unit. What do we believe? They could destroy North Vietnam's capability to manufacture and supply the South. For at least up to a year and a half. Actually, a year and a half, I think, was based on one mission. Big one, they have an amphibious assault, airborne, and all that kind of stuff. So, he briefed Kissinger, believing Kissinger had read everything he sent him. And he said, my mistake was that Kissinger just kind of looked at it real quick and said, give me a briefing. Eat my breakfast here. And Kissinger did not know anything about it. Except for, some basic blurb. Later found out Kissinger didn't have a clue of what it was. So Kissinger actually wanted a full in-depth briefing with all the information he had already sent, because Kissinger didn't read it. He just kind of saw the concept of the operation, sounded okay, give me a briefing. So there are things that have happened in the past in our nation that can be corrected in the future if we remember the past. So I'll make sure that everything gets out there. So, because sometimes we perceive, even in conversation, that people understand what we're saying when they don't. Right. They may hear what we're saying, but they don't see what we're saying. It's one of the things they'll say sometimes. We could have actually won the Vietnam War. But again, that was That was the only thing that would have done it. It was a perfect plan. The people knew it was a perfect plan once they, like again, it's top secret. And the only person that knew about it was like Kissinger, the analyst, his boss, and maybe a couple other people. But later, other people found out, like people that had been over there, people that were related to the intelligence gathering over there, that were over there, and they're like, oh my God, that would have worked. It was like a year and a half. They would have destroyed North Vietnam's capability to supply the South, just to manufacture and all that. And then it was actually the North Vietnamese network to supply the South was immense and advanced and difficult to overcome. But the actual where the equipment was coming from, now China may have bumped up some additional supplies. I don't know. I guess there's a way around it. Right. But North Vietnam would lose all of its manufacturing capabilities. It was very simple. And they wouldn't be able to rebuild sufficiently for a year and a half. And I think it also involved storage facilities and all that kind of thing. I don't know why they didn't bomb it. Maybe it was well protected to that degree. Right. United Flag 7. That's why we lost Afghanistan. We allowed North Vietnam to exist. Right. So we forgot and repeated it. Correct. That was delicious. Tofu sandwich with onions and ketchup on a pita. This is not super firm tofu. It's a completely different food, if you ask me. Right. Where we solve the problems of the ICE operations. Excellent. Over here. CHS. I can't wait for this weather to go back down again. I hate when it's this hot. And then in here it gets nasty too. I can tell it's like pumping something out of the walls. And so now the case law suggested that DACA is illegal, but it never went to fruition. Again, I wouldn't bank on it because it's like Texas case law. It's that circuit, so it could go either way. Well, it just solves the marked unit problem in any scenario. Again, Murphy's Law. And then you have dual purpose vehicles. Saves a lot of money. Also, the idea is you're only going to have so many marked units. Right? And those units, you're going to have to call those units in. Right. I guess you could man them by, what, 0082s, like police officers. Right. ICE police officers on patrol. ICE on patrol. No, like if you look into scriptures, what's happening again? I don't do it because of the scriptures. Like I'm not saying, well, in Leviticus, therefore I elect this way to the LDS Church. I just naturally do it. Right. But this is all biblical response, and they're the biblical evil. They are Jezebel. That's the whoredom. It's evil. It's evil eye magic, sexualization magic. But they're also using psyop. So if you had an officer go sexual weird, that's who did it. These people, and it could be somebody in your agency, could be somebody in FBI. CIA is definitely behind it. Oh, I tested them for years. Now they're pulling all the stops out, trying to get me to look at porn. What's not working? What do I not? See, right? They're real, and it is happening. But you can create triggers. Like fake triggers where they think they got you, right? And then you watch what they do, right? God bless you, Larry. You gotta bring in bigger sluts. She's not slutty enough. No, the one looks like Jonathan Luna's girlfriend. I don't know if it's intentional or it just happens, because it does happen sometimes, because they're devils, right? But the one at the gym looks like Jonathan Luna's girlfriend. Back when, maybe now. I mean, I don't know what she looks like now. I did see one photo because she got someplace and they put a photo of her. Right. Surprised to see her, but not surprised, Well, she's probably Jezebel. Could be Jezebel reincarnated. Oh, yeah, that's the name. We're trying to find that. Rabbis remind me. I got to find it. Oh, I got to do the prayers, too. No, when we first woke up, people were like, hey, can you do that stuff for me? I was in the government at that point. Do the thingy. And then some people, I picked it up that God was doing it, but some people would bring their kid around me and put their hands on the kid's head. And they were thinking, heal my kid, heal my kid. But again, Hashem will do that because that became a sign. So when a person comes before you with their hands on their child's head, it's something they do in like churches and other temples when they bring their kids for healing. It's just something people do, kind of presenting their child. So when they present their child like that, then you heal them. As a cop, you have the ability to heal people. You have a higher status in the community. You're part of the temple of Israel. I mean, again, in a protracted sense. That's who Saul was. Rabbi Saul was a cop in the temple. Rabbi Saul was a cop, but he was actually a very evil cop. And then he became, Saul. He was, repented. He was a rabbinical cop. That's who they used to be. Rabbis used to be the cops. Right. So you're still part of that paradigm. So you're a higher status of person on the earth platform, and you can heal people and have it effectuate. So I'm trying a different coffee here. Actually, I made a regular coffee. It tastes like shit. But they have that stock stuff that tastes, pretty good. but this is a different variety. I usually get the espresso because I think that's the lowest acid they have. But again, I don't think any of it's very acidic at all. Right. This is the extra bold, never bitter. Oh wait, my creamer may not have arrived yet. Oh no, there it is. Tamara bought it. I never bought these before. They were Romans, pita. They're actually cheaper. If you go to Walmart to get what's that company called? I don't even remember. John's or Joseph? Joseph's. It's cheaper than Joseph. I'd say somewhat comparable. It's priced well. Right. So it's Romans Bakery, which is really funny, right? Crafted with care. Oh, which crafted, I bet. Or is it spy crafted? They may put that there on purpose. They're wackless. They know the murder routine. Well, you upped your ante. You up your ante as far as marked units. I mean, that's as perfect as it's going to get. I don't think you can beat that one, right? Especially distance per dollar. Right, we agree. I don't think pardoning doesn't stop deportation. I don't know, because there's other reasons to deport. It's not, you can be deported if you didn't commit a crime. I forget what the wording is. I'll look, maybe I'm wrong, but. Is he a citizen? If he's a citizen, you can't probably, but. Let me see. Well, he's unlawfully here. He's not protected. That's crazy. Right. No, he obviously was convicted. He obviously committed the crime. Right. Just because somebody pardons him doesn't get him out of the trouble. I'm not telling you to deport him. Do what you need to do, but right. Because you don't have to be convicted of a crime to be deported. Right. Agree. Now, it might be easy to return him to his country of origin, or his nation of origin, because now he's, doesn't have a charge, theoretically. Right? Well, because his nation of origin, so we don't want him back. It's your trouble now. Right. If you don't join ICE, we'll kill his dog. Right. But that's their defense. We agree. Yeah, but I would, I'm not condoning his action. If this guy's an Israeli official, I'd look to see if he was spy operator. I guess I got to tell the idiots in Israel. Nah, he has a position that would be spy crafted. Spy crafted with care. Yeah, I'm with Hegseth now. We're gonna degrade. We're not degrade. We're gonna demote women. Enough of these sex-based promotions and untouchability. I mean, it's horrible what they did in my life. We're talking about decades, right? And then they act like, "Oh, we put him in prison because he committed crimes against children." No, he didn't. Right. All right, so do the Prime Minister first. No, you have to look to see if they're taking your people down. He may have been spycrafted. He's a famous government official, so he would be a target. Right. Anybody that's a big seer would be. They may have set it up like that because that's part of the scam. Go over to the Philippines. You could have sex with a 10-year-old. I mean, this is what's being projected at me from FBI and CIA and all that. So again, it could have been done to him. Again, there's a lot around it. It's not just simply they're projecting something. They're torturing your life away from reality, right? And isolating. He may have been isolated. Right. Thank you, Mary. He'd be definitely. I mean, he's one that actually has position. He's a seer that actually got into position. I'm a seer that didn't get into position. Actually, I wasn't position. This is the weird part. They go, Larry, you should have been in the Marshal Service or something. You're pretty good at it. That's what they'll say inside. Like the other cops. Hey, you should have been in law enforcement. You're pretty good at that. Investigate, so in the future. Well, they're watching because it only came out with 2 dots. Somebody's responsible and they're watching the Prime Minister's page. Put that there. Put that. Oh, Shin Bet's over here, isn't it? Shimbok. How do we spell that? I think it's this. Well, not Shylock, Shimbok. Shimbet. Wikipedia. I get the other name. Shabak. Shabak. They're Shahs. Facebook. Facebook, why get into it? He's physical operators. I will tell you, people that work in Facebook use physical operators. I will tell you, they probably wanted sex with that influencer and did shit more like even outside of Facebook, so she would have sex with the guy on Facebook that wanted to have sex with that influencer. Big video.
Okay, so is it a miracle that we kill people that killed our people? No, it's a miracle when our people want to kill. That's scripture. So again, just having day-to-day life with none of this bullshit is really Hashem's will. Yeah. Yeshua, HaMashiach. How do I got to your page? Tell me I can't get to your page. Oh, is it blocking it for me because you hate me? Facebook one doesn't want me to talk to you. Oh, no, sorry, I need to send a secret message to the spy agency in Israel. That's what they put in my head. What was over here? It was actually. No problem. Shabbat should be roasting every day. You're in an active combat environment. I mean, in your real name. They're watching you. I don't even think, I haven't even thought about the Netanyahu message. It's 2020, it says Roger. I didn't like select that. I don't think I did. I think it just gave it to me. I don't remember selecting that name. It took like maybe an email and something else and combined it. Maybe somebody at Facebook did that. Thinking that's fine. No, I don't think maybe I did, but I don't remember putting it together. I think it was something weird. Like, how'd that come? Something about an email. Facebook. Blocked me. They blocked me because I was telling you. This is the weird part. I didn't realize it. I was blocked almost when I was telling them, like Netanyahu to make peace and get Omar in there and make peace with the Palestinians, like years before it happened. They blocked me. I think it's his English grade. I'm like, maybe I'm blocked. I was. This is his English grade. I'm blocked on his English grade. I told him make peace with I said, get Omar in there and make peace with the Palestinians. The world depends on you for this. The rich Jews, the cursed me out of that paper. His family. Who knows? They say shit. They say shit all day. Well, if they didn't do jack, then it wouldn't matter. Who's the police? Right, it has to be level spies. International police. Yeah, he's at.
Microphone's on the ground. I don't know how long it's been on the ground. Justice programs. Oh, that's like our people. Go. I wouldn't keep gov.il. I would never allow them to give me that. Because it says like evil, gov.il. Right. May 14th, the last time you put something up there. Right? Oh, come on. Come on. Can't you post? That just is Israeli gov. This isn't the Popo. I guess they don't allow that on the page. I ran into this before trying to find the rabbinical ministry or whatever it is page. It just kept taking me to some standard Israel page. Oh, because sometimes you get tips on here. Well, I guess that's. Right. All right. Okay, 9 hours. Ooh, hey, they're Popo. We actually have their Telegram contact in there. What are you doing? Loser! Actually, look at my daughter, and I'm not like attracted to you. That's just funny because she's probably Jewish, right? My daughter have Korean, but this one looks like my own daughter. Proof that we are Jewish. Your popo? Yeah. Well, my family's related to the police officer on the right. There's no doubt. Right. Yeah, it looks like my mother when she was younger too. A little bit different, but it's enough there. Right. Maybe because the hair is up like that. Right. She looks like my mother when she was young. Is her name Moshe? Is her last name Moshe? Or Baruch? Actually, it would be Baruch. Or Bennett, of course. Right. What is her name? Is her name tag over there? It's actually a little bit with my massage therapist, which may be something there. Not massage therapist, a physical therapist. Now, Hashem will put me around Jewish people. Even Jewish people don't know they're Jewish because they haven't been Jewish for centuries, right? All right, that's probably it for now. Nah, he was probably in the, so it's online and offline. Let me put that on the Prime Minister. Actually, it's everything I ever said. You know how spycraft works. They altered his life somehow. Could be your own police. Who knows? You could have corrupt cells in your police department that think they're just getting rid of somebody they don't like, but they're working for some other spy entity that props them up and makes them big. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God. And what you do, praise God.